What is good, YouTube? This is your boy, Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today, and we are discussing the NFL. We are reacting to the NFC, AFC Championship games. A lot to talk about. Here we go. So, NFC. I didn't expect it to be that lopsided. I thought it would be a lot more competitive. I didn't expect the Eagles to score over 50 points.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. I knew the running game was going to be too dominant because the Commanders, that was their Achilles heel, not being able to stop the run. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, though. I didn't think Saquon Barkley was going to dominate like this. He has been on a tear this entire playoffs. He has shown why he is the best running back in the NFL and why the Giants made a huge mistake not re-signing him. So, what was your thoughts on the game? What did you see? What did you like? Who's to blame for the Commanders' just outright disastrous performance?
Well, I'll tell you who fault it isn't. It's not Jaden Daniels' fault because he was playing pretty well. I don't really see many mistakes that he made. It was just they kept turning the ball over. Turned the ball over on the kick return. Turned the ball over when they was pretty much in scoring range. They kept just turnovers. That's what's going to kill you. And I say you got to play disciplined football if you want to beat a team like the Eagles, because the talent discrepancy of the matchup, I was like, it's too lopsided in the Eagles' favor. So you got to play clean football. And I said you got to play 4 quarters of good to elite football. Mm-hmm. And they did not do that. And you saw how the final score ended up. They had the most points in the championship, conference championship game in the history of the NFL dropped on them. Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, I knew they wasn't going to be able to stop Saquon, because that's just they don't have the dudes to stop Saquon, and Dan Quinn's defense isn't really known for stopping the run, but it was just a mismatch. And I also predicted, I said it was going to be an AJ Brown kind of game. He was going to have about 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he did have 2 touchdowns if I'm not mistaken, and I think he had around 80 or so, but he might have had more than that, honestly. But yeah, the game pretty much went how I expected, except the final score. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout like that. But as far as like the way they won, I feel like that was pretty in line with what I was thinking. So when I saw it unfold, I was just like, dang, it's just really levels when it comes to roster building and all that. And frankly, Dan Quinn, he just got out coached. Kellen Moore, the run scheme was way too advanced for him. They couldn't do anything with it. They tried though. They tried.
They did. I think it boils down to the game shifted with the turnovers. Yeah. Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, kick return. That's what really changed the dynamic of the game, because they were in the game. Remember, it was like 10-14, and all of a sudden, somebody fumbles the ball. And the Eagles, they capitalize on it. And then it just a ripple down effect. All of a sudden, we see more fumbles happening, more turnovers. And it wasn't on Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, he played a clean game. Yeah. He was accurate. He made right decisions. But when your teammates, veteran teammates, not guys that are young, veteran teammates, make mistakes like that, it's going to be very hard to upset a team like the Eagles with that much talent, with that much good coaching going on. And he was behind the numbers for the entirety of the game. It's unfortunate. I thought Jaden Daniels, he had a magical season. He was tremendous this entire year. Nobody thought that he was going to be in that situation where he's potentially going to a Super Bowl, but they weren't able to do it. The Eagles, we predicted this. We said they had the better dudes, great coaching. Besides Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, all he had to do was manage the game, and he managed the game again. But he made some really good throws, good decision making. They didn't put it on his shoulders. They relied on Saquon Barkley. They took advantage of the mishaps of the Commanders beating themselves, which is odd because we saw the Lions game and all they did was take advantage of the Lions' mistakes, and all they did was play clean football. But in this game, for whatever reason, they just went the other way. They decided to hurt themselves more than help themselves, and that resulted in them getting blown out, not being able to stop the run, and that's really what it is. Got to play clean football against an elite team like the Eagles. The Rams, they well-coached team. They nearly beat the Eagles, but again, got to play clean football, got to make the right decisions, and got to take advantage of mismatches. And The Commanders were able to do it. The Rams weren't able to do it. And now the Eagles are back in the Super Bowl.
Like, honestly, like, the score was 14-12, and Jaden Daniels didn't touch the ball until the score was 27-12. So that's just that's a huge swing.
Just lets you know how much things can change if you don't take care of football.
And also, I was confused about this, okay? So, the first drive of the game for the Commanders, they was moving the ball pretty well. They got some 4th down conversions, and then on like 4th and 3 or so,
they kicked the
field goal.
Right.
I was confused about that because you're on the road. You're pretty much playing with house money. No one expected you to be here. If you're going to be aggressive the entire drive, just be fully aggressive. And just score. I don't know if he was like, I don't want to pull a Dan Campbell and be too aggressive and we lose out on points, but like, just go all the way.
Go all the way. Even though it was a very long drive, but then he had over
18 plays. Yeah.
18 plays, which is absurd. Just because it's 18 plays, okay, yeah, I understand it's a very long drive, but continue to go. If you can convert on 4th down, what you have been doing, I don't see what's the point of not continue to try to go for the 4th down again until you get a touchdown, because you're playing an elite team like this on the road in a hostile environment like Philadelphia. You have to take advantage of those opportunities, and I feel like they didn't do that when it needed it most.
And then Saquon Barkley gets a 1-play touchdown. The next drive.
Right. And then it
was like, dang.
It's like a stab at your heart. Like, oh, we kick a field goal, played it safe, and then boom, first drive, first possession, first snap.
He's gone
all the way all the way, easy touchdown for him. So yeah, that made a huge difference. What do you think the Commanders need to do this offseason in order to improve and to be able to come back to the situation again and potentially compete for a Super Bowl?
Okay, so they need to be able to stop the run.
Facts.
Because they played pretty much most of the top RBs they played this year, and they was getting cooked by pretty much all of them. And you got to be able to stop the run. I mean, especially with the resurgence of the run game and RBs now, from when everyone was just passing the ball all the time. Now every team is going to focus more on running the ball. You got to be able to stop these dudes, because you play some dudes next year that's really good at running the ball. So you got to stop the run, and you got to get a running back. Facts. Because Brian Robinson Jr., he's not it. Austin Eckler, he's old. McNichols, he's a jag.
Yeah, pretty much.
You got to get a dude to be a lead back in this offense, because Brian Robinson Jr., he's not shifty. He's strong, but he's not fast.
No.
So let's use him on short yardage. He's not really the best option. You also got to get a number 2 wide receiver. Dami Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, they had solid games, but when you counted on them, Dami Brown, he folded. Zaccheaus, he was nowhere to be found. He was relying on old man Zach Ertz out there. You can't have that. You got to get a number 2 bona fide guy. I'm not saying you got to go out and get T. Higgins, but you got to get somebody. Try to get, if it's there, I mean, you got the cap space. You can go out and sign a guy.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, if I'm looking at this team, I'm looking to trade up for a guy. Maybe Ibuka. Maybe want to get I like Tez Johnson from Oregon, honestly, later in the round, like second, third round, in my opinion. But also, you got to figure out the corner situation.
Oh, my God.
Marshawn Lattimore was getting his face fried off.
That might be the number one thing they had to get.
Because, boy, I like Saren Steele. He's good. He's pretty good. But when you're going against dudes like A.J. Brown, it's a mismatch just because of the height and size difference. But yeah, you got to get that figured out. Your secondary isn't the best. Especially, corner isn't the best.
Oh yeah, corner is terrible.
Marshawn Lattimore, he's getting up there. He was getting torched. Maybe he'll be better with a full camp and off season and everything. But I still would have that safety plan in place just because he hasn't really been healthy, guy.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. I think the wide receiver thing is
if I had to rank it, I'm gonna go trenches.
Yeah.
Corner, running back.
Yeah. Running back over receiver?
Receiver running. Jaden Daniels is a big part of run game, but you ideally wouldn't want that to going forward.
Nah,
because he's already going to be 25 next year, and yeah, I'd rather go receive. Dang,
that is tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
But I will say there's a lot of good running backs this draft, so I probably would go receiver over running back just for the fact that the depth at wide receiver isn't as big as the running back position. You can wait in the later rounds and get a quality running back. So I would say wide receiver then running back when it comes to skill position on the offensive side. So that's just me.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
What was you about to say?
Nah, I mean, you made a lot of great points. The trenches are definitely number one. I'm definitely trying to figure out a way to get rid of Jonathan Allen and some of them dudes that are getting paid a bunch of money because they're not making a whole bunch of impact and they're getting paid a lot of money. I'd rather just bank on somebody in the draft, maybe free agency, that is going to demand less money instead of a guy that he's been there for a bit and he's been okay, but hasn't been that great impact player like they need him to be. And I would do it. I know has a lot of leadership in that locker room, but at this stage of his career, I think it's better. Yes, you have to produce. I think it's better if they move on from him, trade him, see if you can find a trade partner, or just release him if you don't have any more guaranteed money. So that's just me. That's what I would do. But they desperately need a corner. Maybe find one in free agency or in the draft as well. But they need to find a corner. And there's some quality corners in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
The guy from Texas, Will Johnson. But Will Johnson, he's going to be gone by the time the Commanders are able to pick.
Ravel. I forgot what team he plays for. But, yeah, I forgot. I don't know how to say his name. It's like Azariah or Thomas or something. He's Wanye Thomas' brother, plays for the Cowboys. But yeah, there's some pretty good corners in this draft.
Yeah, so they can find some corners, but I will probably go. Thing is, when it comes to the trenches, right? Do they need a D tackle, or would you say they just need a D end or? Yeah, DN or D tackle.
The problem with them is they have good dudes that can get to the QB. The problem is they don't set the edge. Like Dante Fowler can get to the QB. He's not setting the edge. And that's why you really didn't see him much in that Eagles game. I think he only had maybe less than 10 snaps or something like that. So you ain't really see him much because, well, when you're going against these teams that can run the ball, these dudes are not very disciplined. They're not very good. So you got to find a guy that's good at both.
I don't think there's a whole lot of depth at that D tackle position that I know of. The guy that I always hear about is the guy from Michigan, but he's going to be gone in the top 5.
There's some dudes. I've been watching a lot of draft content, and the people I trust them because I trust their scouting and their analysis because they do this for a living pretty much. They said there's some D tackles here, and a lot of them are athletic guys, but they also strong.
Mm-hmm.
So they may need to probably look at some of those kind of dudes.
I just think with D tackles, it gets tricky in the draft because a lot of times they're either okay, not all that impact player. It gets a bit tricky with D tackles, but maybe I don't know. Maybe free agency they could find somebody. They could.
Think about free agency. Teams are very stingy when it comes to certain position groups. You will rarely see a top tackle on the market. Offensive tackle, D tackle, corner. They're a little more expendable wide receivers, but those really 3 you will rarely see those type of dudes just because how rare it is to find elite talent at those positions.
That's true. That is true.
You would probably have to give some team an offer they can't refuse for a D tackle.
Well, there you go.
Honestly, this draft. This is not really a draft that you would want to go for needs because the talent pool isn't. It's not that many first round grades. A lot of these scouts have. They say it's a lot of second, third round grades, but you're gonna have to overdraft them because it's 32 picks in the first round. So
that's my thing. When the D tackle position is. Are these D tackles besides the guy from Michigan? Are they all first round graded D tackles? That's my.
Most people have around for this class. I want to say 10 to 12, maybe 13 first round grades.
For D-Tac? Oh, for just the
entire
prospects.
class.
Okay. See, that's where it gets dicey for me. That's where it gets dicey for me. And it's like, okay, maybe, again, free agency comes first.
Yeah.
So they can always address. That's why I love about the NFL is that they have free agency and then the draft. Not like the NBA where it's like the draft and the free agency, which I absolutely hate. So they can possibly find a quality D-tackle. Maybe he's not a star or anything like that, but he can fill the need. He does his job. So that can be something that they can look to. So yeah, there you go. Commanders, Eagles. Not really much I want to say else about the Eagles. We all pretty much know we expected they were coming into the playoffs. Them and the Lions were pretty much, I thought were going to eventually collide, but it ultimately was Commanders. And, the Eagles are back in the Super Bowl again. Saquon Barkley has a lot to do with that and that defense as well. So not really much else I could really say on that matter. Let's transition into the Bills versus Chiefs games because I think that is the more... There's a lot more we can really discuss in that game. I picked the Chiefs. You picked the Chiefs for a lot of the many reasons that we saw in that game. Number one, I thought the Bills' defense can be had. I didn't think that they were going to be able to stop the Chiefs' offense all that much. I believe that was the first game the Chiefs scored over 30 points the entire season. Matter of fact, it was the first game since November 2023 that the Chiefs... 23. Yeah. Since November 2023, I believe, where the Chiefs scored over 30 in the game.
Dang.
So it's been that long.
But we said that Buffalo defense ain't good.
No, I said that they can be had. It's a bend but not break defense. They don't have all the talent. Chiefs getting healthier on the offensive side, and they showed itself against the Bills. They won narrowly, but
even with the turnovers.
These type of games, it always comes down to a few plays. Bills, Chiefs, it's always a great matchup, always a great game, and the Bills, they just weren't able to capitalize. They had the ball last. Josh Allen with the ball. Now, to defend Josh Allen, I've been seeing a lot of breakdown on the play. I'm talking about the last play, the fourth down play. It wasn't his fault. It was just a bad play call by Joe Brady. Spags was able to disguise his defense, and credit to Spags. This is why Spags is going to go to the Hall of Fame. This is why Andy Reid hired Spags to come to the Chiefs because of this reason alone. And he was able to identify the protection for the Bills. Only 5 guys protecting Josh Allen. All right, I'm going to send 6 or 7. And that really disrupted what the Bills were trying to do on the fourth down play. There wasn't no hot route. There wasn't no route in case it is a blitz. It felt like they weren't prepared in that situation. And that's coaching.
Yeah, Joe Brady.
That is literally coaching. And this is why the Kansas City Chiefs always win, is because they always are prepared. They're playing chess. The other team's playing checkers. And that defensive play call by Spags was absolutely amazing. Absolutely tremendous. I feel like Joe Brady should have known that Spags was going to blitz in that situation. But it is what it is. I don't believe this was on Josh Allen. At the end of the day, it was a bad play call. Even if he would have slid the protection, it was still only 5 guys protecting him. It still would have been a problem at the end of the day. And there was no hot route in the event that it is a blitz. So that's on Joe Brady. What about you? How did you feel about the play?
How I feel about the play is that I'm just pulling up something. All right, so how I feel about the play. I mean, it was a great play call from Spagnuolo, you know what I'm saying? But I think Joe Brady, I'm definitely putting the blame on Joe Brady here and Dalton Kincaid, because how in the world did you drop that? And your job the only thing you're good at is catching the ball, because you can't block. That's why Dawson Knox still gets most of the snaps. And your one job is to catch the freaking ball, and you couldn't do it. Literally fell in your bread basket, and you just couldn't do it. Straight drop. And that's a daggone shame. But yeah, I mean, my thing was, understand the play call. In that spot though, why do you have 3 dudes running in the same direction? and then having one long route. I don't understand that. I don't understand what it was. What 4th and 5, I believe.
4th and 5. Yeah,
it was 4th and 5. What are we doing?
I know, right?
Like the blitz is coming mostly from this way. I didn't see a single route. I saw one route and it was out the backfield go that way. I'm like, what are we doing? What Joe Brady should have saw the look, or Sean McDermott should have saw the look and said, "Timeout. We need to get a second look at this."
They had 18 seconds still, and they just said, "Snap, let's go." Why?
Like, you have 3 timeouts as well. Like you could have easily been like, okay, let's get another look at this. This look is looking a little crazy. We know the personnel. We know what we're running. And we see like 8 dudes at the line of scrimmage, just like, and we got 3 routes going in one direction. Shouldn't common sense say, yeah, let's think about this one? Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is why I said this game is gonna come down to execution.
Yeah,
because the Chiefs execute, even though they had they had a turnover or 2, they still executed down the stretch. That 4th quarter is really what separates the good from the great. And the Chiefs, time and time again, I'm saying you do not want to be in a 1-score game with the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are like undefeated in 1-score games in like the past
how many years?
However many years. Like it's insane. You're not going to beat them in a 1-score game, because every time when you're going to need to make a play, you're going to have to execute. It's not going to happen.
You're going to have to outsmart them too.
Yeah, and it showed in that last play. The Chiefs had to get that. They got that first down on 4th down to ice the game. Samaj Piron coming out the back. Execution.
You can't have Patrick Mahomes with the ball last. That's another thing. If you're trying to get a stop on him, that's just not going to be the case.
Yeah, and honestly, this Bills loss is really on team building. I mean, yeah, some players showed up like Matt Collins, but like you don't have a dude. Like, there was no dude that Josh Allen consistently could go to on a down-to-down basis. Khalil Shakir, he was pretty much boxed up most of the time because McDuffie was on him. And then I think did they try to throw a fade over near McDuffie, or was that last week?
I don't know, but
I think they tried to throw a fade to McDuffie and it just didn't work. I'm like, why are you trying to test an all-pro corner?
They did score. They scored a good amount.
James Cook had a hell of a game.
Yeah, they scored a good amount, even though the lack of talent.
Yeah, but like you still need like I said.
Oh, they do.
Instead of going to Dalton Kincaid, that play could have been drawn up for the number 1 guy. But like I'm saying, when you try to do this wide receiver by committee foolishness and dudes ain't doing what they got to do, that's what happens. And I just think I just didn't like the play call from Joe Brady in general. But that whole game, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, hold on, are they actually going to do it? But then 4th quarter came and I was like,
I never thought they was gonna do it. I'm gonna be honest.
I was like, it's a non-zero chance that they'll do it.
I didn't, when I saw, they got the ball last, but
I knew they wasn't gonna get it done when they had the ball. I'm talking about early in the 4th. I was like, hold on,
I didn't think they was gonna do it. I was like, nah, they're not gonna do it. Something's gonna go wrong, some mishap, lack of execution, bad play call, something was gonna happen, and lo and behold, it did happen. It's just the Chiefs are smarter than everybody else. They know what they need to do. They know how to execute. And Andy Reid, he keeps his ace. He keeps an ace up his sleeve. Like, he always has something. He always has a trump card. He always has a play that he can utilize that the defense, it'll be unexpected. And that's just great coaching. That is just great game planning from a head coach. And that's why he's going to go to Hall of Fame. And that's why he's one of the greatest coaches we've ever seen. Is because he's able to game plan. He's able to know when to use this play at the right moment. And he just keeps doing it over and over again. They're not conservative. They don't play scared. They're the aggressor in these situations. They're like, normally you want to run the ball to get the clock down. But no, they're like, we're going to throw it. We're going to end the game overall. Let's not be scared. Let's not have them get the ball back. And that's what they did. And it's genius. They're geniuses at this. And they just keep doing it over and over and over again. What every other team is doing, they're not doing. They're doing something different, and it works every single time. That's why they have won 3 Super Bowls, and they're on the brink of winning a 4th.
And this is really emphasizes like the scheme and culture of the team, because Juju got cut from the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And he had a few big plays this playoff run. So this really is about coaching, players knowing what they're going to do and what their job is. and getting put in positions to succeed.
It's like the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's literally like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick Patriots.
Like, it was a bunch of times where the Patriots, like, who is this dude? And why is he doing this stuff? Like, who is this guy? And it just seemed to work because the team, the scheme, the coaching, they put players in positions to succeed. And the Bills side of the hand, they have a personnel problem. A big personnel problem, especially on the defensive end. DeMar Hamlin was getting fried out there. Like, they was playing find the scrub and was throwing at DeMar Hamlin. They was going at him every chance they got. And it was just bad. Oh, Kyer Alam, he's terrible. He's horrible. Wasted a first round pick on that corner. He's just god awful. I don't understand why he's so bad. I saw his Florida film a few years ago when I was like, I mean, he looked good, but he was a shutdown corner in college. But now it seems like he forgot how to play football. Like, you got cooked like that by Juju?
Yeah.
It was, oh my goodness. And they just, like, the Chiefs found mixed matches all over the field. Xavier Worthy running wide open across the middle of the field on a mesh route. It was just, oh boy. It was just a mismatch all over. They did whatever they want. Travis Kelce didn't even have a good game. And they still was able to do whatever they want on offense. Kareem Hunt was terrorizing them in the run game. It was just, man, the Bills have a serious defensive personnel issue. Honestly, I'm looking at Sean McDermott like, buddy, you're the defense guy. Why is this the weakest unit on the field when you're supposed to be the defense guy?
What's going on? Talent, dude. They don't. They weren't even supposed to be there, if we're being honest. Coming into the season, I didn't think the Bills were going to go to the AFC Championship game. I looked at the roster and I said, They took a step down from the previous season where they lost to the Chiefs in the divisional round. So for them to make it to the championship game, that just speaks to Josh Allen's greatness. That just speaks to the play calling of Joe Brady. But then when it mattered most, the greatness of Josh Allen and Joe Brady didn't show up at the end. For the most of the game, they were carrying him. But when it mattered most, when you need your dude to make a play, he just wasn't able to make the play. And it just seems like the same old thing over and over and over again every single year. And this is why I don't bet against the Chiefs, because until I see it, I think Josh Allen, I think the Bills are not going to be able to get over that hump.
I don't think any team in the AFC going to be able to get over that hump unless something crazy happens to the Chiefs. Somebody get, like, Mahomes gets injured or something. Other than that, I don't see how a team is supposed to beat these dudes.
Either Mahomes gets injured, Andy Reid retires. Those are only two things I see. If the Chiefs are able to get knocked down.
Leaves.
Yeah, Spagnuolo leaves.
But he said he ain't leaving. He said he don't want to be a head coach. He just want to coordinate.
Like, if the Chiefs, if their defense goes back to where it was pre-2022, then you got a shot. But it seems like that defense is not going to slow down for many years. They just know how to draft defense. That scheme, they just know what to do, man. They know how to identify certain positions on defense, and that system has really elevated the defensive players ever since Spags took over as the defensive coordinator. So until something changed on the defensive end, it's going to be very hard for any team to knock off Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I noticed on the offensive end is how they got dudes back now, and they can get you multiple ways. Like I saw Marquise Brown had in the first drive of the game, I believe, for the Chiefs. Marquise Brown was getting involved, and then later in the game you saw more D-Hop. And then Xavier Worthy, well, he was pretty much there the whole game. It's just like, man, how in the world did the Bills allow them to get Xavier Worthy? They need to stop trading with them.
I know. Stop trading with the enemy.
That is so crazy to me. You got Keon Coleman, but they got Xavier Worthy. Y'all silly.
And they needed speed, too. It wasn't like they were... Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a jump ball guy, but I feel like it would be better if they had Xavier Worthy's speed than Keon Coleman's jump ball ability.
Yeah.
That's
funny
just
thing,
me.
Funny thing, Xavier Worthy did catch a jump ball that game.
Hey, man.
Stop doing deals with the Chiefs, please. It never works out because the other deal you did trading with the Chiefs, they ended up with Pat Mahomes. So let's just stop trading with the Chiefs, please.
Right. So that'll do it for our reaction to both games. Let's transition. I want to talk about the Pro Bowls. Pro Bowl week. They had that little competition, whatever that little thing that they do on the weekdays. They have like these skill challenges,
stuff,
which in my opinion are a bit silly. Is it time to abolish the Pro Bowl? Is it time for them to just get rid of it altogether? The skill challenges, the game. Are you just done with it, or you still want them to continue to do it in some way?
I'm not sure what they can do, honestly. I mean, the skill challenges, they cool and all. It's like a little fun activity, but do people really want to watch and care about it? Not really. So, yeah, I don't know what they can do to honestly fix this. The Pro Bowl, they moved it to flag football. No one really cares about flag football. But they had to do something because no one was watching a regular Pro Bowl because they wasn't playing no defense. At least with flag football, you could at least like try without having to risk super like injury from being physical and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't know what they can do. I feel like they're definitely trying to market towards the younger generation. So they might not even be taking what we say into account. They may be trying to get the teens and stuff and the little kids and stuff on board with it. So they probably don't care what we think because the older we saw how the old Pro Bowl and stuff was. So I don't know. I feel like they got a plan or something. But as far as it's not fun to watch though. It's like background noise at this point.
Yeah.
But shoot, the NBA All-Star weekend going to be just like that if they keep it up on this trajectory.
I think it's definitely getting to that point. I want to say this because I do think they can do something about the skills challenge.
Okay.
Now, the Pro Bowl game, that's a different story. I don't think you can fix that at all. But the skills challenge, I think there are ways to make it interesting. You have the best players in the NFL competing in your skills challenge. It's not like the NBA where the best players are sitting in the stands watching a bunch of G League dudes, bench guys compete. Like, no, you have the best players competing in the skills challenge. So what can we do to take advantage of that? I don't know. How about test guys' speed? Who's the fastest guy in the NFL?
They did do that one year, though.
They did. Well, they need to bring that back. Who has the strongest arm? Bring that back. Who is the most accurate passer? They changed it this year, which is kind of weird. I don't know why you would change it from something that was already good. That was the best part of the skills challenge event.
They changed like screens, right? Instead of targets.
I hate that. Go back to the original. Test guys' strength. Who's the strongest guy in the NFL? Simple stuff that people will want to know. You have the best players in the NFL. Who's the fastest guy? Who's the strongest guy? Who has the strongest arm? Who's the most accurate passer? Who has the best hands? It's so easy. It's so simple. Do that.
What if they did like a 1v1 competition?
That would be great too. But what are we doing? Oh, who could do the strongest spike? Like, who cares?
No way that was a competition.
I swear to God, I saw a video where it's like a guy spiking the ball as hard as he can. I'm like, come on, bro. What are we doing?
That's crazy.
This is ridiculous, bro.
I saw one thing with like Justin Jefferson. He was doing like catches and stuff. Too. Then he put on these giant hands. I'm like, what is going on here?
Bro, it's goofy. This is just too silly, man. Like, can we get back to really being serious and testing their ability instead of just doing all these theatrics, all this other stuff that doesn't measure how great of hands or how great athletic ability they really have. Well, let's get back to the basics. People want to know who's the fastest guy in the NFL? Who has the strongest arm? Who has the best hands for real? Let's get back to that. Let's not make it overly complicated. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it like that. And I guarantee you people are going to watch because who would want to know, okay, who has the best hands? Who's the strongest guy in the NFL? Who's the fastest guy in the NFL? Who wouldn't want to know that?
You could even set up like a wide receiver drill course and have it to where like it's the NBA skill challenge. You know how they do it at the same time. You could have it like that. Maybe do some ladders. Maybe do like some things you go in between now and then have like the finish and maybe like a catch or something. I don't know. You could do something that just increases the competitive nature of it.
they would have these shows, Wipeout, Ultimate Ninja Warrior. They would have stuff like that that tests people athletic ability and also and other stuff as well. You can incorporate stuff like that. I just think they're overthinking things. They're overcomplicating it. They don't really know what to do. Just keep it simple, man. Think about what people really want to know. What do they really want to know about these NFL players? They want to know who's the fastest, strongest, best passer, strongest arm. It's that simple. Just keep it like that, and I guarantee you people are going to want to watch. It's gonna spread on social media. People are gonna be interested in it. The skills challenge could easily take over the All-Star Saturday night. Easily. Because you have the best players competing. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like they're overcomplicating it. It's so simple. It really is. I don't understand why it's so hard.
Beats me.
But to answer the question, I do think they should get rid of it. I do.
The entire everything.
I think they
just
should get
have
rid of
people just be elected as Pro Bowl, but no festivities, nothing.
Yeah. Because at this point, it's a joke. These alternates, like Drake May.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be really good one day, but he's not ready. Like Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler one year. Tua Tagovailoa was a Pro Bowler. Alex Smith was a Pro Bowler. Yeah. Come on. This is just the Pro Bowl. Matter of fact, if you are an alternate, it should say alternate. It shouldn't just say Pro Bowler. It should say you were an alternate Pro Bowler. Tyler Huntley?
That was funny.
What are we doing, dog? Like, there should be an asterisk by Pro Bowler if you're an alternate. It should not be just, he made the Pro Bowl. Because that really just lessens the significance of making the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So, get rid of it. I'm done with it.
I wouldn't care if they got rid of it, kept it. I ain't gonna watch it.
Me either. So, all right. Let's transition to NFL draft, early NFL draft analysis. Give me, as a Cowboys fan, who are you looking to in terms of prospects for the Cowboys that you want to draft?
I'm really looking right now. I'm really looking into like wide receivers and running backs because I believe the Cowboys will either go running back receiver or receiver running back the first 2 rounds. I'm offensive tackles. There's a couple guys. This isn't really a strong class for tackles or anything like that. Offensive tackles. So I'm not really paying too much attention. Like there's I believe his name is Josh Simmons. I think he's an Ohio State dude. I think he has like a knee injury or something like that though. But he's like the best tackle in this class. You got Will Campbell from LSU. He's good, but like compared to like last year's class, he wouldn't even be top 3 in honestly. And you guys like the I think his name is Kelvin Banks, tackle from Texas. He's one of the guys people project maybe he has like a 2nd round grade on. So it's not really a lot of 1st round grades on these dudes. So that's why I'm not really too invested in it. But for what I'm looking at everybody knows Ashton James. You don't really got to watch no film on JT. We all know what he is. But Omarion Hampton, Trevion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins. I want to say there's another running back I'm probably forgetting the name of. And wide receivers, you always got Luther Burden, Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter. I believe Travis maybe. I don't know what Travis Hunter going to be doing in the league. But Emeka Egbuka, Savion Williams, Tez Walker. Is that his name? Tez?
No,
Tez
Johnson.
Tez
Walker was from North Carolina last year. Got drafted, I think, to the Ravens.
Tez Johnson. It's another dude. Yeah, I can't.
Luther Burden? Did you say Luther Burden?
I said Luther Burden.
You said Luther Burden.
I got like pretty much the 1st round dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, other than that, I'm not really paying attention too much else. Maybe I'll start looking at corners in a little later. We still got plenty of days into the draft. So.
Right.
So yeah.
And then the guy from Kansas.
Oh, Devin Neal.
And then the guy from Iowa.
I forgot his name. I literally just saw something about.
And
Scatterblue?
No, he's not from Iowa, but
no, I know. Yeah, He's from Arizona State.
Arizona State? Yeah, Arizona Scatterboo. Yeah, he's another one.
Yeah, I literally just heard about that Iowa dude. I forgot. I literally just saw his name too.
Yeah, so yeah, those are some names. I mean, good running back class.
Yeah,
a lot
really
of depth.
is.
Wouldn't be mad if a team that drafted a running back in the 3rd round, one of those guys.
There's gonna be a lot of dudes.
I think Travion Henderson is a name that has started to get a lot more buzz. I think the Cowboys, maybe if he slips in the 2nd round, could get him. I doubt it, though. I think he might go in the late 1st, maybe, or early.
Travion Henderson, a lot of teams projected him to go mid 2nd, 3rd round.
Really?
Because like the injury history.
So, he has injury history.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But he's very explosive.
Oh yeah.
They think Jukins is the explosive guy. No, he is the explosive guy.
Yeah, and then he could catch the ball too. So.
Right. He's a guy that you plug and play, and he's your Sonic.
Yeah, he's good if you have like already have a every down
a power back.
Yeah.
Oh, every down back.
Yeah.
Really?
Or if you have a back that's more physical back.
Right, more physical.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You bring him in to do like change of pace.
Commanders.
Yeah.
Commanders.
But I wouldn't want Brian Robinson as my number 1 back.
Oh, right,
I'm looking at an Omarion Hampton type dude.
Need a guy that can carry, give him 20 touches.
Yeah.
Can carry the load. Okay. For me, I'm looking at edge rushers. I'm looking at pass rushers. I want a guy that is a solidified plug and play. He's going to get you sacks. He's going to get you QB pressures. I don't want just a raw talent guy. He has the potential one day of being great. We've done that for so many years with a lot of these dudes. They either take a long time to develop or they never reach their ceiling. For me, I'm looking at guys like Mike Green. I'm looking at Kyle Kennard maybe in the 2nd round. I'm looking at dudes that established sack guys, very talented. I always hear this thing about if you didn't get a whole lot of sacks in college, chances are you're not going to get a whole lot of sacks in the league. And I believe that. I don't know what Micah Parsons, I don't know how he was in college. Yeah, he was. I don't know if he was a high sack guy in college.
No, not at all.
No, he wasn't.
He played off-ball backer at Penn State.
Yeah, and I remember hearing about him coming out, and when he started to get a whole lot of sacks, I was a bit surprised. I was like, oh, I didn't know he could do this.
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah. So by the time the draft gets to the Packers, I'm really curious on who's going to be available, and are there going to be pass rushers available that are solidified? They can get to the quarterback, high sack guy, and not just high ceiling.
Have you been looking at mock drafts?
I have, and one, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah that said Shamar Stewart. He had him going to the Packers, and for me, it's just I don't like to look at the stat sheet, but when you only have 1.5 sack, I'm sorry.
How were they utilizing him? Was he like a rotational guy?
See, I haven't done a whole bunch of research yet. I've seen some highlights, and I know he very impactful, but I have to see more to really get a judge on exactly like how good he is. Maybe he could be a rotational.
His name is Shamar.
I think Shamar Stewart.
I think I heard someone talking about him who watched this film. They said he beats his guy, but he doesn't finish.
And I don't want that.
I think they said, I don't know if I might be getting him confused with another guy, but I want to say it could be him, but there is a pass rusher I was hearing talk about. They said his win rate is 24%, which is every 4 reps he's going to win 1. But he doesn't get sacks because he doesn't finish the play all the time.
Okay.
So that might be the guy you talking about.
I just want an instant impact guy, dude. I'm tired of getting these high ceiling dudes, but they don't impact winning right away. You have to wait. And even when they start developing, it's very slow. I want somebody that can just play. I want a guy like what the Rams got.
Jared Verse.
I want that, man. He comes in, bunch of pressures. he's not going to get you 10 sacks initially, but he's going to get you a lot of QB
he did
pressure.
get 10 sacks.
He got 10 sacks?
I thought he had like 11 sacks.
I didn't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up. But I need somebody like that, dude. I need somebody that'll come in, instant starter, make plays. I need somebody like that.
He only had 4.5 sacks.
Yeah, but
he got a lot of pressure.
But he was in the top of the NFL in win rate.
Yeah.
And he got a bunch of pressure. So even though he didn't get a lot of sacks, he still impacted the game significantly. And against the Eagles, we saw what he did against the Eagles in that playoff game. I think he had 2 sacks that game. So somebody like that, man, I need somebody like that because the Packers, they don't have nobody like that. Rashawn Gary, he's regressed. We need somebody that can plug and play, who is a freak of nature and that can disrupt just the protection of the offense from the other team, can really rattle the quarterback. We do not have that. And this draft has a lot of dudes that can do that. I just don't know if they'll be available when the Packers are picking in the first round. We'll see. But I know that if the Packers really want somebody, they have to make sure that, A, they can get to the quarterback and they're just not, they're talent level. They're just a high ceiling guy. They just have so much. The measurables are there, but what does the film say? What does the stat sheet say? At this point, I'm looking at the stat sheet. That's just how I'm looking at it.
I mean, that's fair.
We've been doing this formula over and over again. It's just not worked. The second thing, I think with the Packers, because I heard another mock draft where we had us taking the corner from Texas who won the what is the award they in college for the best corner, best DB?
I don't remember.
I forget what it's called. The Thorpe Award. He won the Thorpe Award. Okay. Listen, my problem is that the problem wasn't at corner why we lost. It was the front four, excuse me. The defensive line just could not get to Jalen Hurts. It wasn't the corners. So for me, I think they can find a corner in free agency that they can plug and play. We didn't have Jair Alexander playing. He was gone for the majority of the season, and we still had a top 10 defense. We need a pass rusher. We need somebody that can get to the quarterback. I think that's more important than a corner. And I think with the talent level at edge rusher this year, which is enormous, I think it's very important for the Packers to go find an edge rusher in the first round. Wide receiver, I wouldn't go after wide receiver. It's just not, we need a number one guy. You're not going to see that when the draft gets to the Packers position. I think we're at 26. You're not going to get a number one guy at 26. So I think they need to go edge rusher. It's important for them to go edge rusher. I can't see any other position they can go to other than edge rusher. Wide receiver, I would try to trade for a wide receiver, get a wide receiver in free agency. Corner, I would go after a corner in free agency. I think this is the draft to get an edge rusher.
Garrett Wilson might be on the block.
I don't think the Packers are going to want to give up all that draft capital for Garrett Wilson. I
don't think he's going to require that much draft.
Really?
Because I think he's up for a contract next year.
But he's young. He is young.
I mean, all he got to do is stay for one franchise tag, and then he'll be able to hit the market.
I do want to see what Davante Adams' market is. I know he's older, 30, but he can catch.
He's still good.
He's still really good, and he would instantly be our number one guy, and he knows the system. He knows Jordan Love, even though he didn't really play. He only played, I think, one game with Jordan Love against the Chiefs, I believe it was. But we need a guy that can plug and play, knows the system. He's a huge target guy, high volume guy.
Looking like?
I think we have over $20 million in cap space. We can free up. We're probably going to get rid of some dudes, maybe a Kenny Clark, maybe a Jair. So we're going to get rid of some dudes anyway. We're going to free up some cap space. I think Davante Adams is the play here. I think he would be perfect for Jordan Love. We need a veteran guy that can catch the football.
T. Higgins?
I don't want to, but he's going to demand a lot of money. I know his age is good, but It's the money for me. We need a guy that is a solidified number one, high volume guy. I believe Davante Adams is that dude. Until we find our succession plan, I think Davante Adams is the play.
That's fair. Because I really can't think of many receivers that's like even up available to trade for. So
yeah, and I think with the Jets, they traded for Davante Adams, but with Aaron Rodgers' situation, I wouldn't put it past the Jets to look for a new destination for Davante Adams.
Do they have a new GM?
Yeah.
Yeah, new GM, new coaching. They might not even want to bring all that with them. So.
Right. So I would, the Packers, I would just look for edge rusher in the first round. If Kyle Kennard does slip in the second round, I would trade up to get him. Mm-hmm. I think he would be an amazing addition to the defense. And although he is a bit raw in talent, I do think that his ceiling is just so great. It's just too great. But besides that, I can't really. There's nothing really I could say. Cornerback maybe, but that's really what I'm looking at. We need some pass rush. We need pass rushers. We do need to upgrade a receiver, but we need a solidified number one receiver. It's not in this draft except one dude. So, anything else in the draft? Early draft analysis for right now. I mean, we pretty much talked about that. So yeah, I think that'll do it for the NFL. We'll give our predictions for the Super Bowl next week, and just tune into that video as well. So we'll see you guys in the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the social as well. Also check out our playlist, the full podcast playlist, and all the other playlists as well. Links are going to be in the description for that. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Just let me be.